Hello everyone, welcome back to the Russian campaign on Napoleon Total War with glorious choir music in the background. So, this is episode 4 and you can see that what we're essentially trying to do is we are forming sort of like a line here of areas where we can build up troops. Now, we've got to be careful because the last time I played Napoleon Total War, the Prussians literally took over everything. So, but our first point of contact will need to be the Ottomans. Now, the reason we're doing that is we can get down here. It means that we can then deal with the Ottoman sailors there and sort of block off the Black Sea so that we can essentially take Istanbul. Now, they're likely to have quite a few armies in there. Now, after that, then obviously we can move down, take these other areas, Greece as well, and then move on. Now, obviously we need to be able to attack Spain because we're at war with them. So I'm just wondering whether or not it's maybe going to Catalonia or somewhere like that to attack that. Now, obviously, I'd like to take Corsica, obviously, because it is the home, the birthplace of course, our little French friend. But if I can get to a situation where I can capture the likes of Gibraltar, then what I can do is put a nice big fleet there to block off the Mediterranean and also all areas that pertaining to that. So essentially I can act as a blockade into the Mediterranean while I can then start to capture various areas. Means I get these trade spots here, which will vastly increase my financial clout, and also means that I can then attack Spain from the base here and then maybe make a move from Spain into France and then to sort of clear up the rest of France at the same time. But I've got to watch the Austrians, who are notoriously aggressive, obviously, and of course the Prussians. So one thing I did realise, though, that I hadn't done is I did not have a alliance with Prussia. Oh, they find the terms unacceptable. Okay, so we're not getting an alliance with Prussia. So even though it's actually in our list of things to do, if I remember rightly. See, alliance with the Kingdom of Prussia. So you get 1,000 for the treasury. And we're not going to settle an old score with Finland because I don't really want to push everybody out over to here, piss off Sweden, and worry about that when I've got a lot more to worry about, predominantly my focus on the Ottoman Empire. So we've got this army here, as you can see, under Buxy there, Fyodor, and down here we've got another army under, of course, our friend Kutuzov, sorry, pronunciation for the loss, and these guys are going to be moving over to there. Now, that's basically to bolster that army, and then we can bring both these armies in, over that bridge and over that bridge, and then make a push into there. Now, the only drawback, I think, is the fact that I don't think that'll be enough armies in order for us to fully take that location. Now, we've obviously got Bennigsen down here, and we can recruit more here. So you can see there's a magistrate, cannon foundry, theatre, all that kind of stuff. It might be a case of we change that to a cantonment or a cantonment so that we can start recruiting musketeers and hussars and all that kind of other stuff, so that we can essentially use those guys as a feed to feed down towards these guys. Now, obviously, we do have an army in here and we can recruit whatever we need. So we've got another one going in there. So we may be in a position, it's just that I don't really want to have a frontline fort essentially acting as a place of mustering. So I don't think that's a very good strategy there. Now, obviously, this guy here, we could, let's have a look. What have we got in Vilnius? The wonderful land of Vilnius in Lithuania. Look at that place, isn't it lovely? Obviously. Near Malau and Riga. And of course, Königsberg near Prussia. And look at that. So, we have been building loads of these kind of things, clearances and stuff like that, and great estates to essentially build up the economy. Because we want to have a solid and established economy in order to finance our war efforts. Now, at the moment, I'm not really massively fussed about this area. Now, we are on friendly terms with the English, so the English can deal with their navy, can deal with those straits there and then down the side, and then obviously it's this area here. I would like to get ownership of this area so I can take all these trading areas here on the Africa, the Horn of Africa, and the areas around there. That will be advantageous as far as we're concerned. So that's the direction that we're sort of generally going. But obviously, I welcome, of course, any comments, any tips and hints and strategy thoughts. Feel free to chuck them down there in the comments. They're more than welcome as we play through this campaign. So, let's see. I think it's time to end the turn because we can't spend any more money. We're doing the recruiting, but the thing is, I also tend not to be very aggressive at the start when I don't feel that I'm in a confident position with enough armies. So, because obviously I know what will happen, it'll all go to poo, and I'll end up basically being attacked by the Ottoman Empire. And the Ottoman Empire have got those massive, massive flipping cannons that cause you lots of problems. So anyway, let's end the turn and find out. Let's speed these guys up. So here's a spy making his way down towards Istanbul on that peninsula out there, or outcropping, depending on your point of view. And there you can see, there's the problem that we're going to have around Spain, is the French Empire, basically piracy down the trading lanes of the British Empire and also all others around that area. So, if anyone's going to do trading piracy, it's going to be us, damn it, not the French. But at least the British are there now. There we go. You can see the Prussians moving people around. Trying to get an idea. Now, look at this. The Ottoman Empire moving a small army down in that general direction. Right, so we got an agent recruited, which is great. Now, where is our agent? Here he is. And he's in Belgorod. Okay, so what we are going to do... He's a gentleman. Oh, he's right. So research. So we need to go there. So he can get in there and do some researchy stuff. Now, obviously, we'd like to get a modern university, but we will require dialects to get that. So let's have a look. Intellectual advance, public schooling. Good stuff. Another intellectual advance. We've done that one. Tick. And here we go. More units recruited over there. Fantastic. And construction. So you can see Ordnance Factory in Moscow, Opera House in Moscow, Great Estates, Logging Camp and Supply Warehouse. So that should help bolster our finances. And then obviously, as you can see, this gentleman who is now on his way to assist with the research. Now, let's just see. Can we get that request a alliance with them? No, and again, no. Okay, well, seems we're not going to get the alliance with the Prussians, so for whatever reason, best known to them. Now, let's have a look here. So we've got this one, and the national census is the one that's under research. So you can see reduce administrative costs and a bonus to global tax rate. Now, we haven't done any of this stuff here. I think it might be something we need to consider because obviously we need to move down to the barracks to enable us to build hussars, more musketeers, Cossack cavalry, you name it. And obviously down towards the drill school, Uhlans, hussars, all the rest of them. And all these lovely fellows, the mounted rifles and the Russian lifeguard Cossacks. So we will want to go for the conscription. Now, diamond formation, I'm not a massive me bothered about that. The fire and advance drill could be helpful. Carronades enables you to make a carronade frigate, and could be helpful. Don't know yet. Currently undecided on that one. So at the moment we are researching diamond formation. Let's research this one. Let's do researching. Now, the only drawback with this one is it will reduce the happiness of the lower classes, because we're essentially going to call them up. Actually, no, let's go for that one. We're going to go for this to reduce the administration, the early administration costs, and then obviously we can build additional stuff here once we've got a court of justice. Now, it could be that we create the court of justice in Moscow, which is where we can do it. So have the court of justice back at the central home of the Muscovites and do it that way. Now, let's see, because this gentleman still has to make his way to fulfill and fill out the rest of that army. So let us move those cannons down there, because that's going to slow them down. So they're just going to move up to there. So in three turns, they'll be in there. And in the meantime, this army is now full. So we are going to get him and put him right on the edge there to guard that area. Now, in the meantime, the cannon can go in there, and that gives us an opportunity to recruit another army. So let's have a look. Let's get some more musketeers in there. A couple of Moscow musketeers as well. A couple of Jaegers, and we'll leave it at that for the moment. So you can see that we've hit the limit there. Now, Army Corps Organisation, -5 upkeep, that would be helpful. Logistics, replenishment rates, Army campaign ranges, supply depots helpful. Top gallants, battles for ships, not so much a massive problem as far as we're concerned, but we'll wait and see how that works out for us. Now, if we check to see what's going on over here, is there anything? Now, obviously, he's sniffing around looking for stuff. We have this army here. We can only recruit militia, unfortunately. So let us change that to that. And then we'll also put in a cannon foundry. So these guys can act as a force to be reckoned with. Small army here. As you can see, we can only recruit militia. Not really bothered about having militia. I love this tune so much. It's so relaxing. So chilled. So, let's have a look around. So you can see Great Estates. We've done all we can on that. Now, we don't have the Steam Empire yet, so that will add some more wealth to us, but obviously we need to be researching Steam. Let's have a look. So, Division of Labour, Steam Engine. So, it's going to be down there somewhere. But it's not until you can actually create a factory, or at least upgrade to a factory. But obviously, see, in an ideal world, we'll get that one, and then obviously that will give us magistrates and other stuff that will generally increase the happiness of everyone. And then what I think we need to do is we need to start working on the troops. So we can sort of get all of these things here, build the troops up to the next level, and then maybe we can then start building up the industrial to the next level. So they're all going to be at the same level. Then we'll move down and get them all. So they are literally all progressing at a regular pace, all at the same level. So, Smolensk, we shall leave as it stands at the moment. Kiev, obviously, you've got a tax office or a theatre. You can see they're building the Great Arsenal. Now, what will the tax office do? Bonus region, +1 repression, yeah. Classical economics and national debt. Just what we wanted. But it will increase the recruitment level there. So, you know, it's not too bad. And we can use that as a feeder to feed these guys down here if need be. Now, as you can see, full recruitment across the board down there in Kiev. Oh, sorry, in Odessa, in Little Tatari. And these guys are essentially just waiting quietly while the rest of these guys move up to assist. Of course, Fyodor Bodovich Buksoodin. Not sure how the last name is pronounced, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so these guys pretty much look okay. They're not really doing much up there in Estonia. It's the kind of thing, oh, what's this I can build? Manufactory or a gunsmith. So the manufactory will give me -1 happiness, obviously. -3 recruitment for artillery in the region. Whereas a gunsmith will give me, right, so what do we have in here? At the moment we don't have anything. So I'm thinking, let's do a manufactory. And obviously there's the barracks, which we don't have to worry about for the moment. Now, fortunately for us, there's not a big army in there. So we don't have to worry about the Prussians for the moment. But it's the kind of thing that we have to watch. The slow creep of the Russians, so to speak. Sorry, the Prussians. Let us infiltrate. And he has been successful. And that's a big-ass army in there. So we need at least 2 armies to go in there and do some kind of serious damage. So that's the direction that we're looking to go with respect to the strategy. So we move down here, take these areas, and then it could be a case of move here and move from Spain and go up from Spain to France, and then start dealing with the French, because the French obviously are going to be pushing against the Austrians, and of course obviously the Kingdom of Saxony and other places. So these fellas here, the Kingdom of Saxony, of which we're at peace, and they are pretty much surrounded by the Prussians and the Austrians. So you can see there Munich has been taken by the French, but I don't really want to sort of move through the territory of the Austrians until such times as I'm ready to take on the French with enough armies, because they're going to, yeah, they've got like, you know, millions and millions of men in arms, so it's going to be a problem for us. And obviously in this particular time period, don't forget, boys and girls, the best army in the world is the French army. And that was a reputation they had for 100, 200 years. And that's an amazing accomplishment when you think about it, especially in this era. I mean, for those of you who remember Napoleon and his quotes and all that kind of stuff, and he says, "You cannot stop me. I spend 3,000 lives a month." No, 30,000 lives a month. Just think about that from a point of view of numbers. Scary, scary stuff. So, let's end the turn. Now, obviously, I like to keep an eye on what the AI is doing, where they're moving, all the kind of stuff. So, if you prefer that we switch off the AI moves, just let me know in the comments, because I tend to like it on so I can see who's moving where, if they're moving in a particular way, or I can see them starting to move armies up to a certain location. So here's a construction report: Great Estates, stud farms, Great Estates, and the lumber mill. So that's all, as you can see, going to help increase our finances and reduce recruitment costs as well. And there you go, Oleg Trubachev, spy, currently there, which is going to be our first target when it comes to dealing with the Ottomans. Now, obviously, we've also got musketeers over here in Odessa. And you can see the drill school we can't get until we get mass mobilization. But think about all those lovely forces we'll be able to get. And the armies we will be able to pour forth. Because at the moment, literally, it's just like a combination of horsey arty, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I love the horse artillery because you can move them so quickly. They're obviously not as high caliber as the other artilleries. But it also means that you can, for example, you know, basically unlimber them or limber them back up again, move them into another location and start firing from a different location. So, right, let's see. A very small army. See, they're 9-pound foot artillery, so that means they'll have to be wheeled into place by foot. That's going to reduce their movement. And also, I just want to say a big shout out, obviously, to Lionheart, who's doing a Prussian campaign on Napoleon Total War, which I have been enjoying immensely. And I really do wish they'd do a Napoleon 2, because if they did a Napoleon 2 and they had co-op, oh god, there's a co-op campaign I'd play for definite with the likes of Lionheart or Malekith. That's definitely would be just so many levels of awesome. Or, you know, the only drawback is, as you know from the history, especially when playing Shogun 2, I know what will happen. I'll play co-op with Malekith and then basically he'll declare war against me and attack me. Because everybody else declares war on me, so why shouldn't Malekith? So whether or not Lionheart is as devious, it's difficult to say. Knowing how often he's played the Total War games, I would say there's a certain amount of deviousness in there somewhere, but whether I would be on the receiving end of said deviousness, it's difficult to say. Anyway, random cobblers aside, we've now moved on to the next turn. And you can see we're decent with money. So money is not really a massive problem for us. This guy needs to get his butt in that general direction. And let's see, can we get the Prussian? See, the thing is, see, that's the Austrian Empire we're allied with. And the Prussians are indifferent. Even though we're trading with them. Now, let me just quickly check, because trading at war, Batavian, Kingdom of Italy, obviously, and the Swiss Confederation. So these guys here, I'm trading with everyone that can trade. Some of these guys can't trade because they don't have a port from which to establish the trade, which is fair, understandable. So, we don't want to put a small star fort in. Let's see, that's a drill school, which we can't build yet. And it would require 8 turns in order to build it. And obviously, we would require mass mobilization, that little puppy there, in order to do that. So I think we're going to get these 2 here, and then we'll work on conscription. Then we'll probably move down to mass mobilization quickly, before we then move up and start getting these other things here as well. So, we also want to check out infrastructure, because as you can see, the roads are pretty good. Let's upgrade a road in Little Tatari, because we're going to want to get troops from this area pretty quickly. And, let's see. Where's my main recruitment station? Is it that one? No, it doesn't appear to be. Okay, so it's going to be that one. So let's put in a nice road there. So essentially, by upgrading the roads at the front here, it essentially means... What are you up to? It essentially means that I can get troops across the front lines down to areas that I need to get them to as quickly as possible, which will be half the battle. Now, steam. No, that's a great estate. So that's being built now. And that's also a merchant house being built. This gentleman is obviously off to the research areas. And here in Moscow, we could build a barracks and a great arsenal. Sorry, great arsenal. Watching too much bottom. Let's upgrade that to... Let's upgrade the infrastructure. So people can get in and out of Roscoe as quickly as possible. Although I've always wondered why, when we pronounce it, the British, the Europeans, it's called Moscow. But when the Americans and Canadians, I think it's predominantly Americans pronounce it, it's always Moscow. Not sure why. Interested to know if there's actually any history beneath it or anything like that. Because it's obviously ironic considering that I'm terrible at pronunciations generally. But it's just something that I wondered about. I just tend to... I follow a lot of American politics generally. So, and it's something that you tend to notice. So, Army. Hello, Army. Now, obviously, we've got this gent, wherever he is, moving up to assist. We've got these guys who are building a barracks and a great arsenal in Kiev. And then, obviously... We've got the lovely the recruitment area here in Odessa. These armies are ready to go. These guys are going to be moving into there. Now, let's see. They've got a good thing. Yeah, okay. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to put those three in there. And that'll be that lot there. Now, we'll put these guys in here. Just store them in there. Temporarily until such times as we need them for an army. Or farms. That's Austrian. That worries me. I am concerned about that. Now, let's see. Now, the thing is, obviously, you know, you want to see a battle in the episode and all the rest of it, but I like to make sure that I'm prepared with the forces that I need in order to achieve victory. Now, obviously, once these guys get into here, we can move down with these guys and then move in with this guy here. And then that means that we'll be in a position to actually attack with a couple of armies and then use those two armies to push down. In the meantime, we'll raise more armies in Odessa and places like this. Where, sorry, correction. Places like up here. Or up here, but anyway. And use them to essentially... There we go, this place here, Kiev. And use them to essentially... feed armies down through the Ottoman Empire and into the areas of the Ottoman territory, which will be down as far as Athens in Greece. So I doubt the Greeks are very happy about that. So, that's the direction that we're going, boys and girls, with respect to this campaign. Obviously, your thoughts and comments are very welcome as we continue through this series. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again for more very soon. Cheers, guys.